Hey curl friends, it's me, Naturally Sage. Welcome back to my channel. If y'all are new here, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any natural hair content. I created this channel to share my natural hair knowledge with you guys and spread hair positivity and hair love because I believe that all natural hair is good hair. Today's video is going to be everything you need to know about hair porosity. We're going to be talking about what it is, why it's important, and how you can perfect your natural hair care routine with this knowledge. So let's get into it. Hair porosity is going to tell you how your hair accepts and retains moisture. This is important when you have natural hair because one of the main things that we struggle with being natural is keeping our hair nice and moisturized. So knowing how your hair accepts moisture and holds moisture is really important. In order for our hair to grow and retain that length, our hair has to stay moisturized. When people talk about going natural, they talk about the hair typing system and how that can help you better take care of your hair. But in all reality, the hair typing system does nothing besides split us up, put us in boxes, and it doesn't really tell you anything about the actual composition of your hair. There is nothing that I've learned from the hair typing system that actually is information that I would want to pass on to you guys. Now, something that I think is even more important than hair typing is hair porosity, hence why we're making this video. Now you're probably thinking, all right, tell me, what is it? What do I gotta do? How do I figure out what my hair porosity is? There are 3 different types of hair porosities. You have your low porosity, medium porosity, and your high porosity. Let's talk about how you can identify your own hair porosity, and then we'll talk about each type and talk about some of the characteristics and how you can build your routine around that porosity type. Now, when you hear hair porosity, you probably think of the float test where you take a glass of water and put some hair in it and then you wait for it to float or sink, and that'll tell you your hair porosity. But y'all, I think that this test should be canceled. When you really think about the scientific composition of our hair and the natural oils that we have in our hair, most likely the hair is gonna float. I think in some cases that you can get an accurate reading. Alternatively, you can just pull out a piece of hair, take it like this, and just rub your finger down the hair shaft. If you rub your finger down the shaft of your hair and it feels very slick and very soft, then you probably have low porosity hair. And then we'll come back to this hair feeling test. I don't know what I want to call it, but we'll come back to this when we talk about high porosity. So if we're talking about the composition of your hair, there are a couple different layers of your hair. And when we talk about the cuticle of the hair, it is the outermost layer of the hair. It is that when you see all those things coming off the hair shaft, that is called the hair cuticle. The hair cuticle is really important because that's what protects the rest of your hair from damage. That's why we want to treat her well. So another indicator that you have low porosity hair would be that products sit on top of your hair. It feels like there's this white residue. And I'm not talking about flakes. I'm talking about immediately when you start applying a cream to your hair and it looks like it's just sitting on top. You brush it through, you're wondering like, what is happening here? That could be an indicator that you have low porosity hair, meaning that it's tough for your hair to absorb that moisture and absorb that product. Another indicator that you have low porosity hair is that when you wet your hair, it takes a very long time. You spend a long time trying to get your hair actually wet in the shower, and it takes a while for you to get that like sopping wet hair. The reason why the hair feels soft when you're doing this test is because that outermost layer is tighter and flatter. And that's the part that makes it more difficult to get moisture into the hair. One of the ways that people with low porosity hair can trick their hair into retaining more moisture is to add heat to your routine. Whether that is starting your deep condition by rinsing your hair with warm water so you can open up that cuticle a little bit, or you're applying the deep conditioner and taking a heat cap and putting that heat cap in the microwave and then kind of giving yourself some layers so you can build up heat in there so you can help open those cuticles and receive that moisture from the deep conditioner. That's why I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I know you know what's coming next. That's why people use cold water after the deep conditioner, because that cold water is going to close that cuticle back up. Another thing that people do while they're deep conditioning is add a steamer. They have like a steam hood type dryer situation. That's also a good way to help you get moisture into your hair. The good thing about low porosity hair is that while it can be difficult to get moisture into your hair, once you got it in there, it's in there. Okay? So it's a little tricky to get that moisture in, but once you got it all sealed in, let's talk about some of the ways that we can manipulate products for our low porosity girls. If you are into doing lots of braid outs and lots of twist outs, wash and goes, and layering those styling products, I would like to caution you on that, because like I said, with low porosity hair, you're more prone to buildup. So if you're layering a thick cream and a curling cream and a gel, it's going to be a lot for your hair to take in, and it's going to be a little overwhelming. So I would suggest, instead of using 2 creams in a gel, go for that LCO method. You want to go for some liquid, like I said, some warm water, 1 cream, and you can pick the thickest cream that you got. Just layer 1 cream instead of 2. One product that I really love is the ORS Curls Unleashed Does It All Smoothie Styler. And I love that product because it's a styling product, so I use it for this braid out actually. And it gives me great definition, but as you can see, I'm still pretty moisturized, which is exactly what we want. And then for the O, oil. Seal in that moisture with your oil. So while you're deep conditioning, you'll seal in the moisture with cold water, and then when you move on to styling, you'll seal in that moisture with an oil. Go ahead and check out my video right up here on oils to help you choose the best oil for your hair, because oils can be kind of tricky sometimes. You have moisturizing oils and sealing oils, and it's important to know the difference when you're trying to actually seal your hair up. The last thing I have for you on low porosity hair is just a little added bonus. If you're looking to add another step to your natural hair care routine and you're looking for some added moisture, I would recommend a hot oil treatment. Hot oil treatments are going to be really good for our low porosity girls because, again, that heat is going to help open up the cuticle and allow that oil to get in and penetrate the strand, which is exactly what we need. For our medium porosity curlies, you guys require the least amount of attention when it comes to moisture retention, so you guys aren't going to have to alter your natural hair care routine too much. Let's move on to high porosity hair, because I think that low porosity and high porosity have very strong indicators, while medium porosity is pretty average. So yeah, our high porosity curlies, let's go back to this strand test. So when you rub your finger along the strand, you're going to feel bumps. You're going to noticeably feel the cuticles of the hair. You'll be able to kind of feel those bumps along the way. So if you have a lot of bumps on that hair strand, that's an indicator that you probably have high porosity hair. If you have high porosity hair, that means that the cuticle of the hair is going to be more loose and contain more gaps. It's going to look something like that. And some of the characteristics of high porosity are hair feels more damaged or dry or frizzy, or like you have color treated hair or relaxed hair. That might be an indicator that you have high porosity hair. The good thing about high porosity hair is that you accept moisture, you receive moisture, your hair eats it right up. But that also means that your hair loses moisture fast. So you might be getting your hair wet and then all of a sudden it's dry 2 seconds later, or you're doing a whole moisture routine and then it just doesn't seem as moisturized as you thought it would be or you'd like it to be. And the other thing with high porosity hair is you've got to be careful because you are going to be more prone to breakage. So some things that I would suggest incorporating into your natural hair care routine that might help you care for your high porosity hair are making sure that when you're detangling, you're starting from the bottom up. Now, this is important for everyone who has natural hair, but specifically people with high porosity hair. The goal here is to reduce damage as much as possible. And products that contain butters and oils can also be really helpful because it can help fill in those gaps for your hair. Another thing that you definitely should incorporate into your natural hair care routine is deep conditioning. Don't skip deep condition day because your hair really needs that extra moisture. Along with deep conditioning, we want to make sure that you're drying your hair with a cotton t-shirt or a microfiber towel. You want to be sleeping on satin. You want to be doing everything that you can for your hair in order to protect it, because having the cuticle open and out kind of means that your hair is more exposed to the things that are around it. The last thing that I think is really important when you have high porosity hair is to stay away from heat. Heat damage is permanent. Heat damage is not reversible. You can prevent it. Now, I don't want y'all to think that you can't use heat on your natural hair. I'm just saying that when you already have damaged hair and you add heat damage on top of that, that whole situation is not going to help your curls flourish in the way that you probably want them to. And the reason why all of those little things are so important is because they can help you change your hair porosity. Change, that's possible? Yes, it is completely possible for your hair porosity to change over the course of your natural hair journey. When I was transitioning, my hair was high porosity, and now that I've nourished and take care of my hair for the last 4 years, my hair is more towards medium porosity. So it's possible to change the composition of your hair if you give your curls love, you keep them nice and moisturized, you deep condition. And let me tell you, when I learned hair porosity, my hair changed so much for the better. I really started to understand the composition of my hair, what that meant, and how I can take care of it in the best way possible so I can be looking good. Because the better you take care of your hair, the more she's going to act right when you're trying to put her in styles. It's like, what even is the point of having cute hairstyles if your hair underneath isn't healthy? Okay, you guys, that is everything that you need to know about hair porosity. If you're more interested in reading things like I am sometimes, you can go ahead and go on over to my website, www.naturallysage.com, and I have all this information up under the blog section. There's one called Porosity where you can read all this information. So I hope you guys are equipped with the knowledge to better take care of your natural hair. If you guys have any questions about hair porosity, how to test for it, or how to care for it, let me know in the comments down below, and I will happily help y'all out. Now, I just dropped some gems on y'all. Don't forget to subscribe, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Naturally Sage.